Hello guys, Sai here, and I've got a couple of things I would like to talk about in this video. The first of which will be a couple of rotations that I use, primarily burst phases when I'm doing ranked, and the other thing is something that popped up today. Looks like BioWare is looking for um, some leaders for the advanced classes. Now, this isn't so much of a campaign as to simply just throw my name out there, because there isn't many people representing us as a class these days that know what they're doing, or that they don't show themselves much, or they don't like to talk about it. Whatever the case may be, there isn't many of us. So I figured I'd throw it out there and I'll mention it at the end of it. Anyway, starting off, this will be the burst rotation that I use in ranked if I'm planning, or that's the idea is to kill someone as quickly as possible. How it usually starts is a Crushing Darkness and an Affliction on a couple of people. And hopefully, if I'm lucky, Affliction will crit and give me a Lightning Barrage. So we'll just pretend for a second here that it did in fact crit. So I'll open with a Polarity Shift Lightning, Thundering Blast, and then I would immediately follow it with a Recklessness Force Lightning, and then, if I'm lucky, and I usually am, Lightning Storm will have procced. So we'll go it over again. So it starts with Thundering Blast, then a procced Force Lightning, and then as that ends, hit it a Chain Lightning. And if you have the three Recklessness stack set bonus, 2 of those should be instant crits. So that's roughly, Thundering Blast is about 6k, Force Lightning crits for about 1.8, so that's around 6k. I don't do math, don't ask me to. And then a Chain Lightning can crit for upwards of 5, usually around 6. So that's a good wound. We'll call it that because we know not everything lines up. They can have guard, they have defensive cooldowns, things like that. But it's a fairly decent chunk of health out of them within a couple of globals. This usually, I use this rotation regardless anywhere, but when I have Polarity Shift and Recklessness up, I try to target the weakest person, like a healer or a sniper, something with the lower armor, or someone who doesn't have guard, and I try to burn them down as quickly as possible. Especially in ranked, it's imperative that you do as much damage as possible so people switch guard, or before they switch guard rather. So the next one is going to be a rotation, and this will be in the Madness tree. There isn't really so much of a burst rotation for Madness. It's really just a, I wouldn't even call it a priority list either. But I'll go over how I play it. And let's make that clear here. This is just how I play. This is not law of the land, it's not set in stone. This isn't, if someone asks you how do you play, you say, well, Sai said this, therefore it's right. Okay, this is just a suggestion. Take it however you want. So let me switch my buttons around real quick. This is my Madness layout. Now, for regs, because I don't play Madness much in ranked unless I'm pestering someone's off node, which I wouldn't be able to display very well here since I'm only one person. This is how I usually run into a battle. I'll run in and tab dot. Yep, I said it. I tab dot. You know, so spam Affliction on multiple people, get a Crushing Darkness out at the beginning so it's off cooldown, and then try to hit as many people as you can with a Death Field, and then dot the person you plan on focusing with a Creeping Terror, and then throw a couple of lightnings out there, get a proc, and hit him with Crushing Darkness, and then just Chain Lightning spam. A lot of people often say they run out of force with Madness, and you do, especially if you're tab targeting. So there's a couple of ways you could go about this. You can play fast and loose with your health, like I do, which is to simply sacrifice it. Even when I'm fighting people, I'll do it, and then hit your insta-heal. Sometimes if you're really stripped for force, you can sacrifice it even further and hit a Warzone med pack. Or you can go for a little bit of downtime and regen, try to get out of combat and regen, or find a health pack on the Warzone. Those aren't always so reliable because this game likes to keep you in combat for, you know, a millennia. Another thing to keep in mind for the Madness spec is to is to throw out lightning strikes if you have extra wrath procs. Let's say Crushing Darkness is down, because lightning strike has a 100% chance to keep up focal lightning, which is the increased haste. And if you're not using the wrath proc, you might as well just throw it anyway. So that about covers it for Madness. If you have any other questions, let me know. So now I'm going to go into a simpler spec. This is the alternative hybrid that I just recently was introduced to. I don't know why I didn't find it sooner, because it had existed before 2.0, but got much better with 2.0. Way back when, I used to play a higher Madness hybrid, which I liked. It was decent. It didn't have any survivability. It was strictly a DPS spec with no hope of survival should you get focused. While this one, that Necron showed to me, is a little bit better on that front. Nah, these last 2 points can be put anywhere. I have some faith in my ability to run from people, so sometimes I'll take Electric Bindings out and put it into crit just for the sake of it, or you can put it into Electric Bindings. If you're finicky with surviving, definitely Electric Bindings is the way you want to go. But for now, I'll put it into Seeping Darkness. Alright, so this is how the spec works. You ready for this? Because this will blow your mind. What you're going to want to do is tab dot a lot, because the spec feeds off of Lightning Barrage procs. So get as many people dotted with Mind or Affliction, and then go to town. Lightning. You'll want to use Death Field on multiple targets. You'll want to use your Wrath procs on Crushing Darkness as well. You'll want to try to divide up your time between Lightning Strike and Crushing Darkness as far as Wrath procs are concerned. Because you still want to get your Chain Lightning procs, because this spec makes use of the Snare, which is very useful. So you shouldn't have too much of a hard time balancing the two. So I threw out a Crushing Darkness, I'll probably get another one, and I'll immediately follow it up with a Chain Lightning, or a Lightning Strike, which followed a granted a Chain Lightning. So there you go. That's about it. It combines elements of both specs. It is more or less mobile. I mean, you can only get so mobile. Even Lightning is a little bit more mobile now, but it's got the dot strength from Madness, most of it anyway, and it's got the CC from Lightning. It makes a pretty decent spec. I use it on and off in ranked. It's kind of hard to say. If you're getting focused a lot, it might be a decent option to use, but if you get to sit back and free cast, I would definitely suggest Lightning. There's just too much burst that comes out of that spec for you to simply pass it up if you're not being focused. And like I said earlier in the movie, or the video, Madness is your option if you're trying to solo people. We haven't done it much in ranked because the fights are really intense at mid, but back before we moved to Bastion, which is where we are now, I would run Madness and I would try to pester the off node in an attempt to either kill him, draw someone off of mid to lighten the load on mid, or we would try every so often, if the target got low before he sent someone, I would have Necron or one of our other Marauders, Flexi, camo out and come to me and kill him as quickly as possible. And then if we did kill him, Necron would run to intercept him, the person that they sent over. If they didn't send anyone over, then we got a node. Anyway, so that's about it for rotations. I won't go over healing because I don't do enough healing for me to feel comfortable telling you guys how to do it. I'll give you a rundown. You see this button, Revivification? Use it. Class dismissed. Anywho, so the next part is the advanced class leadership, whatever they want to call it. I would like you guys, if you think I'm worthy, to throw my name out there, or anyone's name, anyone really, because if we're not represented by the right people, our class is going to go down the drain. If you think there's a good sorcerer, Kikaleki from Hey, I'm MVP, Itchy Eyes was nominated from Rock Bottom. There's a couple of other people out there. I think Thurin Lore, although I'm not entirely sure if he plays. But any of them. If you know a good one, throw his name out there, throw my name out there. Doesn't matter to me. As long as someone who knows what our class is about is thrown out there. Personally, I would like to say that they split the Sorcerer tree in half, as well as the other advanced classes who have multiple roles, because healing and DPS are two drastically different things, and basing your vote on one's ability to play one tree does not cover both of them, and could leave us in the dumps. So that's about it. I'll post a link to the forum post depicting the Sorcerer advanced class leader, and I hope you guys enjoyed.